I'm inside a secret stash of the London Underground's secret treasures, stationed just beyond Cheshire. Well, 130 miles beyond Cheshire. This is a working salt mine in Winsford, Cheshire, which would be approximately Zone 58 on the tube map, and it's where TfL keeps its archives. I'm about 150 metres underground. By comparison, Hampstead is the deepest tube station below ground level, and that's only about 59 metres underground. So it's like stacking two Hampsteads on top of each other. Okay, underneath each other. Or it's the height of 35 London buses.
Get in!
Welcome back to Journey of the Month, the show where I go behind the scenes of London's transport network. In today's episode, I'm following the route of some of TfL's archive records from London to deep below the surface. Along the way,
I wear more PPE than ever before, I struggle to lift a cardboard box, and I see a screen that predicts the UK's Eurovision points next year. But first, our journey has to start somewhere much more mundane.
because why am I visiting a salt mine in the first place? Because it's very cool? Well, yes, there is that, but I mean like on a deeper level. To find out, I'm talking to Tamara from the TfL Archives team. Why does TfL need archives in the first place? How does it actually help the transport system?
Our network is the oldest tube network in the world. So there's a lot of inherent issues within running a transport network that's that old. What the archives can be used for is to work out how to fix things, work out what might happen if you kind of knock a wall down. There's nothing more important than understanding where you've come from, you know, how you got to where you are.
How do you decide what to archive and what not to archive?
There's always going to be a little bit of subjectivity. Essentially, it's about what does this record or this piece of information demonstrate? Has it made an impact on London, how people get around London? Then it should be coming into the archives.
How do you prepare records for deep storage?
We do some cleaning on them to make sure there's no contamination. We have to know that we can discover them and find them. So the cataloguing side of it is very important, trying to pick out keywords that people can then use to search for them and surface those records. We have to make sure that they're packaged nice and correctly so that they're not going to get damaged, and again to try and protect them and preserve them forever.
We're going up to the mines tomorrow. I'm very excited. What are we taking with us?
We're taking a couple of annual reports.
Yep.
We're taking a 1938 staff magazine. We have also got a London Working Party plan, which shows some kind of proposed new routes for the underground network.
Well, I'm looking forward to taking them to their forever home, where they will see out eternity 150 metres underground. I will see you in the morning, and I'll see you now. Good morning from Euston. We're about to take a trip up the West Coast Main Line, or as I like to call it, the Lioness Line Plus. We've got the all-important records, so I think it's time for a generic window montage.
Sitting on a train, getting window shots. I gotta fill a little time till the journey stops, and then we'll get up.
And just like that, we've made it to Crewe. It's a big day for all of you Crewe-based TfL fans. Unfortunately, no time to have a nosy. We're about to get picked up by Deepstore, who run the Deepstore Ridge, which makes it sound like we're about to get archived. Alright, so here we are. We've got our records with us, brought up from London. Should we go and take them in there?
No, we are going to leave these here because Deepstore have their own processes for getting things down into the mines to make sure that everything's tracked properly. But do not fear, we are going to go down.
So this is what the facility looks like on the surface. Just behind there flows the River Weaver. Until recently it was known as the River Liverpool Streets to Enfield Town, Cheshunt and No, hang on, that's the wrong Weaver. It's obviously pretty industrial here, but you'd never guess what a treasure trove is lying beneath our feet. It's time for me to head down, which means this is where the script ends. I mean, I've never been in a salt mine before, so it's time to go vlog mode, which is the same as normal mode, it's just I don't know what the words are going to be yet.
When entering the mine, there's an old school tag-based system so everyone knows who's underground. After passing through an oddly scary turnstile, you can then head into the lift to make the descent.
Right, we are now on our way down. Logged in, we've done all our safety stuff, and the counter is ticking down to nearly 150 metres underneath the earth. I can feel my ears going. It's like being on a plane, but upside down.
So it's the Blackpool Tower upside down.
Eiffel Tower's better twin.
Yes, absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Arriving in the mine is quite disorientating because you've gone from a very ordinary building on the surface to a completely different environment underground. And this is merely scratching the
scratching... Oh, you know what I mean. Because the site is so large, the best way to get around is on 4 wheels. I don't know if anybody's tried installing any underground railway system. I know some people who can help with that. Something as normal as driving becomes very eerie deep underground. There's very little in the way of distinguishing features, and given it's 3 to 4 miles across, it's hard to tell how far you've travelled. But then you come across what feels a little like a self-storage unit hewn into the rock, just on a much grander scale. These massive units get built into the voids left by the mining operation when it's moved on. You can still see some of the earliest Victorian tunnel tracks in the walls. The mining is still happening. They excavate the rock salt that gets spread on Britain's roads and train platforms each winter. But the storage is impressive in its own right. This one's not yet in use, but you can see it's the size of a warehouse, and there are dozens of these across the site. First question on my mind is, why is there even archives here in the first place? It seems like a very random connection for there to be archives in a salt mine.
The salt mine itself started in the 1800s, and naturally the conditions underground suit storing archives down here. Constant temperature, constant humidity. You've got your normal paper records, media, various tapes, CDs. We even store some textiles down here. We find that the conditions suit most products.
You've been driving us around today. How long does it take you to learn getting around? Because this place is like a maze.
Yeah, it's a good few weeks of constant driving, work your way around. We certainly don't let anybody out before then, until they know where they're going. It's several miles of roadways. Lots of it can look the same. Before I worked here, obviously, I've been to mines and stuff, and been to some coal mines. It's quite dark and dingy and small. You come here and it's well lit, spacious. It's definitely surprising. I think it surprises most people when they come underground.
This space is so well lit, you could play a game of football in here. Albeit, not with the records around. That would be irresponsible. There's a suggestion for your team socials?
Maybe at some point.
That's a no. Okay, so Tamara, we're in the TfL portion of Deepstore.
We made it.
What have we got in these boxes?
Well, what I'm actually going to do first, Tom, is I'm going to say, try and lift that box.
Okay, let me hand you this. Looks like you've got the whole works of William Shakespeare. Ah, that's heavy. What is it?
So it's not the whole works of William Shakespeare. It's probably not quite as valuable, but it is still valuable.
Okay.
So this is a tooth, not a human tooth.
That's relieving.
This is a tooth from one of the Crossrail tunnel boring machines.
Wow.
I believe it's from Phyllis. It's one of those things that if you don't know what it is,
you wouldn't know. Yeah.
But obviously it's a real fascinating piece, an important piece of London's history.
First of all, where are the other teeth?
So the machines got dismantled.
Yeah.
So most of the teeth got taken out of the machines, although these kind of the actual core of the tunnel boring machines are still underground.
Yeah.
Because the cost of extracting them was too much. But yeah, the parts that were taken out got either melted down, they got recycled, reused, as did most of the stuff from the Crossrail project.
This blue thing looks like a dancing aardvark. Or anteater. Look at that.
So we've gone from really quite modern to going quite far back.
Okay.
So this is a royal warrant. This is giving the District Railway permission to dig underneath Parliament Square back in the 1870s. So one of the earliest documents really that we have to do with the construction of the underground.
Oh God, it's big.
It's big and it has a signature.
Do I need gloves?
No,
Is that a misconception?
that is one of the myths that we like to dispel with archives.
Yeah.
Gloves are for handling photographs, illuminated manuscripts, but generally we say clean, dry hands. It gives you that dexterity that means you're less likely to cause any damage.
Yeah.
Also means you're less likely to transfer dirt.
Well, I think we should probably do our due diligence and fold it up nicely to go back into its forever home. I keep on using the term forever home in this episode. It's like I'm talking about like a dog or something.
Well, I think these are a little bit more important. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love pets, but...
There's our there's our thumbnail, there's our title, TfL Archives, hate dogs.
No, we don't hate dogs. we just
Thank
prefer
God for that.
archives.
Yeah. Now that we've had a rifle through the boxes, responsibly, should we head back to the surface? I'm kind of peckish and the snack selection down here is terrible. All they've got is ready salted. Thanks for joining me on today's journey. Next time, I'll be finding out what really happens when a line is shut for engineering works. See you next month.